We're gamers talking sports. It's the Gamers Do Sports podcast. Finally back again after several weeks of not being around due to countless issues going on. But first, let's introduce you to all of our hosts again. Over to my left, my right. I can't tell how it looks on here. Josh.
Hi.
Ryan.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Well, glad to be back.
Cody.
Fly Eagles fly on the road to not repeating. It's me, Cody, your host with the most.
Poor Slay. Yeah, we haven't been here for several weeks now, almost a month. I think our last episode was the Super Bowl episode, and there's a lot of reasons for that. Post Cody and I's visit to Daytona, the Left Turn Cult family had an unfortunate circumstance happen. So we stood with them in their time of grieving and all that. The week after that, I ended up in the hospital. Ryan was sick. And then the week after that, I had to have surgery. So we didn't have a show for the last couple weeks for several different reasons. You also might be noticing that we are missing one of our co-hosts. This is a four-man show moving forward. Tony has some personal issues going on, some things that he wants to fix for himself, and we mutually agreed to part ways. No disrespect to him. We have nothing but love for him. We support him. We support him in every way, shape, and form. And we hope he gets better with everything he's got going on. He continues to support us. He's been posting about us when he gets the chance to. Trust me, there is no hard feelings there. But we have a jam-packed episode or jam-packed show for you this week, episode show. And we have a special guest on the show, personal friend of mine, Steve Berhalter from the Tampa Bay Rays is coming on. He is next in the Week in Sports. All right, welcome back to the Gamers Do Sports podcast. This Week in Sports, our first ever guest on the Gamers Do Sports podcast, Steve Berhalter from the Tampa Bay Rays. Steve, how you doing, pal?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for being our first guest. I guess the first part of all this would be to explain to our listeners what you do. What is your role with the Tampa Bay Rays?
So I am an affiliate clubhouse manager. That kind of entails like a jack of all trades kind of thing in one title, I guess you would call it. Mainly just dealing with equipment, any nutrition aspects that come in and out of the clubhouse, dealing with front office staff, players on a day-to-day basis, just doing anything and everything and making sure everything's taken care of. So that's kind of the job description. It's not one thing.
Yeah. What does your day typically consist of? Like, if you had to walk us through from the morning to when you're done for the day.
And give us like a bad day example, like where you're loaded down with stuff.
Exactly.
Honestly, like a bad day is when kind of the weather or rain interferes with a day that makes it even longer. I mean, you're at the field for 12 or 13 hours as it is. So, if it gets into a rain delay, and usually like in the minor leagues, teams want to play. So, I mean, there's been times where it's been a 3-hour delay and you restart, a game's at 7, you play a half inning and the game gets restarted at 10 o'clock and you play nine innings. The game goes until 12 o'clock in the morning, and then you're there until 2:30 or 3 afterwards. And then you're back at it for a getaway day game at 8 a.m. So that's a bad day. That's a tough day, but it still beats, being in a job that you hate somewhere, flipping burgers at McDonald's or something.
The 40-hour-a-week job, right?
I was going to say, like, what all of us guys in here go through on a day-to-day basis. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, Steve, do you go on the road at all with the team, or do you just stay down in Florida?
So it depends. In the last handful of years, I've been based out of affiliates. So in 2018, I was an assistant clubhouse manager in Durham, which is our AAA affiliate. 19, I was the head guy of our rookie ball affiliate in Princeton, West Virginia, and then 2020 had the opportunity to work on the visiting side in the big leagues, which was really unique with being a pandemic and the way baseball was at that time, and it was a heck of an experience. And then the last couple years in 21 and 22, I was based out of Charleston, our low A affiliate. So I go covering those years. I'd been on the road, just depending on whether it was a road trip I wanted to make or if the team needed me at that point. Usually in the playoffs, I would travel just to be able to experience it on the road.
If you
Very
could
nice.
like start from the very beginning of your baseball career, inside professional baseball, just give us like the timeline of like where you've been throughout the years, like in order, if you could.
Yeah. So 2016, I had a friend of mine that was an assistant clubhouse manager for in Charlotte Stone Crabs. They were the high A affiliate at that point. And he asked if I wanted to go and help her out in the clubhouse one day. It was my freshman year of college, and I didn't have any class that day. It was a Wednesday. I was laying in bed, and I was like, well, you know what? I don't have anything to do. Be pretty cool to check out the facility. So I went in there and met my soon-to-be boss, Pat Phelan, Pat Stacks. He's actually with Team Italy in the WBC right now.
Stax is with Italy?
Stacks is with Italy.
No kidding.
Yep, he's in Japan right now.
That's cool.
Tokyo, at the Tokyo Dome. Anyway, that's how I became a bat boy. They needed some help. It was a summer gig. And then after that summer, Stacks invited me back to be his assistant in 2017 back in Port Charlotte. And then that was the Tebow year when Tebow Mania was happening all around the Florida State League. So that was cool being a part of that, him coming through Port Charlotte and stuff. 2018, Stacks got the job in Durham and took me with him to Durham. And that was cool just because it was, I'd never experienced anything like that. It's AAA. And Durham is basically, it's a big league city. It's a big league town. Like it's the most iconic team and minor league team in baseball. You have everything, Bull Durham and everything named after it. So that was cool just being a part of that. They won the Governor's Cup that year. So it's cool going and I think we won it. We won the Governor's Cup in Scranton and then went to the national championship game in Columbus. That was fun being part of that. So then after that year, I went to Princeton in 2019. That was my first year being a head guy. It was unique. Princeton is a small town. Maybe, I don't even know. Not many people. Maybe like 10,000 people. I mean, it'd probably be Arcadia, Florida with the professional baseball team. But it's unique. It's the Appy League, and the Appy League has so much history. Dating back to probably the 1950s. And everybody's so genuine and nice there. So that was a really, really unique experience. And then in 2020, I was set to go back to Princeton, and the pandemic happened. Spring training was shut down. And then I had the opportunity to work the ATS, alternate trading site, and work up on the visiting side in the big leagues. So that was cool to get my, as you would call it, my cup of coffee in the show. And then after that, in 21 and 22, I took a job in Charleston, South Carolina. And that's the low A affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays.
And what are your plans for this year?
This year, I got the opportunity to work based out of the complex, the FCL, Florida Complex League. So I'll be home in Port Charlotte. So that's going to be nice after getting married this past off season and being home, but I'm excited for it. It's, I guess you would call it rookie ball, complex ball, but that's where I'll be.
And you bring up the COVID year. What was the most difficult thing for you in your job to do during that year that you maybe would have been so easy to do any other year?
MLB put a big emphasis on protocols, and a lot of it was making sure everything was sanitized and clean because, if one person got COVID, it was shut down. I mean, there was teams shut down during that year, having to take games off and figuring it out. So, like, just the intensity of that, which we all wanted to be safe with. In any job industry, we didn't really know what COVID was, right? So you just want to try to stay safe and also be able to play baseball and have some sort of normalcy. But I would say probably those protocols, just making sure that everything was clean and sanitized and safe for everybody.
And that was
Now, have those rules gone down a little bit since the pandemic, or are they still really adamant about that?
I mean, they're still adamant about, it's more kind of on your personal level. Like during the pandemic, like everything had to be spaced 6 feet apart, lockers, seating areas, all that kind of stuff. Now it's kind of relaxed a little bit. You don't have to have 6 feet apart and stuff like that. But I mean, just like the rest of the world, there's still signs of protocols. Like, I mean, you go to Walgreens or anywhere, they still got plexiglass up. I mean, there's still protocols from MLB that are sent out, but it's more just like, watch yourself, and that's it.
So, Steve, given that, like you're with the big club in Orlando right now in Disney, this is your third spring training? Fourth?
19, 20, 21, 22, fifth
Your
year.
fifth spring training.
Yeah.
So, and you also had, like you said, the visiting side COVID year with the Rays.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a player that walked into the clubhouse that had you starstruck? You've been around these guys for, a while now. You've gone through the minor leagues with some of them,
Yeah.
whether it be clubhouse manager and the lower affiliates and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
as a big leaguer come through and you're like, holy shit, that's so-and-so.
I wouldn't say so, to be honest with you. Kind of working in baseball, you're around players, you're around coaches, you're around, these guys that have played in the big leagues. And working in the minor leagues, you get to know them as people. So, like, whenever you see a big leaguer, they're normal human beings that just have a really unique talent. So I wouldn't say I've been starstruck by really anybody. Like, it was cool, like, meeting all these different people and stuff like that. So, like, when I mentioned the whole Tebow era, when that whole thing happened, like, it was cool to be like, all right, that's Tim Tebow that walked by me. Like, wow, that's cool. But like, nothing's been like, I'm starstruck over anything.
Oh, I mean, that's all.
I bet you the players respect that too, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're
And,
not
like,
all up
you
in their
get to
face
know.
the whole time asking for autographs and stuff.
Yeah.
No. I mean, you get to know.
Can you get your autograph? Can you get your autograph?
You get to know these guys as, like, on a personal level, and it's just like this, talking to you guys. So,
Anybody more so than somebody else that you've like really become close with over the years that you never, if you didn't have this opportunity, wouldn't have happened?
I don't know. You get to meet some different guys. Especially, being in the minor leagues, you meet guys that make it and that don't make it. And I've been able to keep relationships with guys that are now working normal jobs and, become best of friends. Like, there's a guy, my wife actually, so he pitched for us. And he ended up meeting a girl in Port Charlotte. She became a chiropractor, and my wife goes to her as a chiropractor, and he works the front office. So
I've
I mean,
also seen your wife in the last couple of weeks. She gave me a CAT scan a couple
yeah,
weeks ago.
yep, that was it. So I mean, I wouldn't say there's anybody in particular, but like you're able to see guys on different levels, and it's cool seeing them after baseball as well.
Now, when it comes to the job part of what you do, is it a yearly thing? Is it a contract that you sign where you're with this club for a certain amount of time, or are you looked at more as like an independent contractor where you have to sign on for the year or 6 months? How does that work?
So it kind of all depends, and it's changed a lot with Major League Baseball. Like myself, I'm employed by the parent club, and then I'm assigned, just like a coach or a player would be, like I'm assigned an affiliate to cover. So it's a year-round thing. Um, you know, in years past, like clubhouse managers specifically were employed by the affiliate. So, but it's changed a lot with Major League Baseball. Parent clubs have stepped up and employed clubhouse managers, and I'm thankful for it, and I'm super thankful for the organization I work for because they definitely treat us well.
So you essentially get called up and sent down just like a player would be, essentially.
Yeah, just year to year. I mean, obviously, like the Rays are really good in taking into account like different situations with family or you know things that you want to do or look forward to. Like they take into all that into account and make a decision and makes the best decision for you.
Gotcha.
Can I hijack now?
Yo, go, dude.
Okay.
Take the reins.
So you kind of started your story off with you. I think you said it was 2016. You were in school, and
Mhm.
your buddy called and asked if you would come and help. What were you doing up to that point? Like, what were you studying?
Dude, so all throughout high school, I wanted to study criminal justice. Um, I had some family that were in law enforcement, and it seemed super cool. And I remember like spring break of my senior year, I went and saw some family and did a tour of like a law enforcement agency there and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. So I was trying to like, a month until graduation, I'm freaking out, like trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Right. So, summer goes by. Didn't really do anything the summer after my senior year. Hung out with friends and all that kind of stuff. But I kind of got it, like, well, my brother-in-law got his master's degree in sports management. So I started picking his brain about it. And I mean, he works in finance. He didn't really use his master's degree or his degree, but started picking his brain like, hey, I like sports. I wonder what this is kind of about. Like, I don't know. Um, and then my freshman year of college, it was actually the spring semester. I had a professor, and he was the uncle of our major league pitching coach up in the big leagues, and he kind of did a presentation on his nephew and stuff like that. I was like, man, that's kind of cool. So I decided to do sports management, and then it just became luck that I didn't have anything going on that one day, and that's literally how I got into it. And there's across the industry plenty of stories like that. Like it's legit just a snap of a finger. Like, hey, if I would have said no, I'd probably still be trying to get my foot in the door doing something.
So did you finish your school?
I did. Yeah, I
Okay,
finished.
cool.
Yeah, I finished school. I got my undergrad in recreation and sports management, and then I finished up my master's in uh, exercise and sports psychology.
So I got two more questions, and then I'm gonna
Yep.
let you go. So explain to somebody who might not be as fluent in baseball talk, what do you do for your organization?
They call me a clubby, clubhouse manager. So it's taking care of any equipment needs, uh, contracting out any laundering that needs to be done, meeting with nutritionist, taking in catering orders, meeting with caterers. You talk with the front office at affiliates, scheduling different, whether it's meet and greets or anything that needs to be done with that. And then setting the fields up, helping setting up fields or practices, communicating with front office from whether it be the Rays, the affiliates, any transactions that goes on with players, making sure those are set up, easily. It's a lot. Like it's in different. It's a unique job. There's a lot thrown at you in different ways, but it's also really, really cool to be a part of. And you definitely you learn how to adapt in different environments, and you learn to have the right answer. And if you don't have the right answer, you also learn how to figure it out. But yeah, that's.
Now, do you travel with the team when they throughout the season, or are you specifically designated to the Rays Stadium and that's it?
So like this year, I'll be designated down at our complex in Port Charlotte. In years past, I've traveled with the different teams I've been a part of at the minor league affiliates. But this year I'll be designated down at the complex, and there's really no road games down at the complex. You have day trips to local teams, the most being maybe an hour and a half away. So they just come back that same day.
And just like it's just for an example, it's all these teams at spring train in Florida, like it's their complexes
it's their
around
complex.
the area. So like around here would be Atlanta, Baltimore's is close by, Bradenton is the Pirates. So like that's what you're referring to, right?
Yep, that's
Okay.
it.
Tigers are in Lakeland.
Yeah, yep, they're up in Lakeland there.
I think a lot of people don't really think about how many jobs are in like the sports industry as a whole.
Dude, it's grown exponentially. I mean, just in the 8 years I've been in baseball, like departments are expanding. They're bringing more people in, and a lot of it, has to do with science. More science getting involved in the game, hard data that's getting involved, and you need the people that produce this data, and that's kind of the way the game's going, and it's just expanding. There's a lot of roles in baseball.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Gamers Who Sports podcast. As we come back here, Ryan's laughing, and that's all because Josh, during the break, made a reference to Cody looking like Geraldo. And good Lord.
Oh, excuse me.
Please don't cut that. Please leave all of that in there.
Sorry, Cody.
Cody.
He was a good talk show host too.
Yeah. So, Steve, through our banter that you've had to suffer through now for the last 48 minutes, I wanted to talk a little bit about the pitch clock, but realistically, I want to talk about your brother, Nick, a little bit. And if you could talk about him a little bit, we can go through a story that happened with him. Was it over the summer or last spring?
Yeah, July, I think, last summer.
So let's just talk about your brother a little bit and where he's at. You come from a family that's pretty much really invested in baseball at this point.
Yeah. Nick, he's up in Wheeling, West Virginia, Wheeling University, pitching for their baseball team up there. He pitched in high school. Well, he pitched and caught and hit and played third base. I don't know. He kind of played all over the place. But he ended up getting a scholarship to a JUCO in North Carolina and then transferred to Wheeling, and has been killing it there. But this past summer, he's playing summer baseball in North Carolina, and he was doing a side job, and he's doing a side fencing job, and ended up having an injury on the job where the fence post came and hit him in the head, which is freaking tragic and crazy. But ended up having to have surgery and brain surgery and all that kind of stuff. But he's back. He's back pitching. He's killing it. He threw last weekend, 4 Ks, and he's doing well. So
Good.
that's it.
How many innings? How many innings did he get in?
2 innings.
Oh, all right,
So-
very nice.
So he struck
Yeah.
out the side and then struck out another one.
Yep.
Okay, so
That's good.
I
That's
want
like-
to go back. His injury. You kind of like you giggled a little bit when you were saying it, and it caught me off guard.
I know. It's crazy. It's
Like I'm
I
not
love my
laughing at
brother
the.
to death.
I heard like the older brother giggle in you,
Yeah.
and like I would do the same thing with my
It's
siblings.
nuts. Like it would happen to Nick. Like Nick, I love my brother. He's goofy. It was terrible what happened. And like obviously, like looking back and now knowing that he's okay, like it's just kind of
Is he a
kinda
klutz?
comical.
Is he
a little bit.
the clumsy one?
He's clumsy, but he can throw a baseball 93. So he does. He's doing
It's
okay.
well-rounded, yeah.
Yeah, he's well-rounded.
I think in y'all's backyard, I caught him pitching one time, and that
You
was enough
did.
for me.
That
was it.
You're like, no, done.
That was good because the worst part was back then Nick didn't have any control of anything, so he was throwing it into my like I'm not wearing any catcher gear. He's throwing it into my fucking knees, throwing it into my shins.
Yeah,
Like it's like, dude, I'm done. I'm good.
yeah, yeah. It was funny.
Wake up in the morning, get the print of the baseball on your arm and all that. Like,
Like I think I was wearing fucking Crocs for shoes.
Yeah, you were. I think was that when you split your pants?
It might have
Was
been
that
when I
the day?
yes. Okay, so I think that was the time
Just
I
so we're
split my
clear.
pants.
Just so we're clear. Okay, cool. Okay, that's what I needed to know because I didn't know if he said split or shit, and I needed to
No, split.
clarify.
Because I remember Steve. Steve is, if you want to flash the picture up of me and Steve at his wedding again, Steve is a lot bigger of a gentleman than I am. And he hands me a pair of his basketball shorts. My God, like I needed a belt for basketball shorts when this guy handed me these things. I could have fit my whole body into them. I mean,
Yeah.
this is years ago, like a lot smaller then. I'm a little big now, but like I think I've had to fold them over several times
Yeah.
just to get them to fit.
It was funny.
That was that story. There was the Zolf Diggler story.
Oh, yep.
We got a little sloppy
You
on the
had
night of
the,
my 22nd or 21st birthday, and we started watching some wrestling pay-per-view that was on, and Dolph Ziggler's walking down the ramp, and Steve goes, "Look at that, that's Dolph Diggler." Like so confident in the way you said it.
That was all Diggler. Yep.
But we have good
Shit.
times, man. I mean,
Yeah,
shit.
we did.
we met Chase Elliott together last August.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a hot
Honestly,
day.
you want to talk about when we talked about starstruck? I get starstruck outside of baseball.
Were you starstruck then?
Like I was kind of starstruck. It was like, man, this is really cool. Like you see him on TV and stuff like that. So, I mean,
Who was
it
your
was cool
favorite?
seeing that.
Who was one that
Like,
you
go-
met that you got starstruck?
I did when I was younger. I went to a Brickyard 400 and I was able to meet Dale Earnhardt Jr. I was
Oh,
years
dude,
old.
I couldn't imagine.
at a signing. So
I
that
would
was
die.
that was cool. That was cool back in the day.
Everything ties back to NASCAR here.
It
We're the
does.
Gamers Do Sports podcast, and it still has a tie back to NASCAR somewhere.
Yeah.
Names like Dick Trickle. How can you not tie back to
And there it
NASCAR?
is. There's our Dick Trickle
Also, I
reference.
met Tony Stewart out at Eldora when my cousin was racing his late models there.
Oh, that's.
That
I mean,
oh,
that's.
nice.
I forgot. I completely forgot. Your cousin is Steve Casebolt.
Yeah.
Steve
That is
Casebolt from
cool.
the World of Outlaws, late models.
Yep.
Wow.
Good.
I don't.
Yep.
Does he still run it, Steve, or is he kind of
He
done with
runs like a partial
Okay.
schedule.
Okay. But I brought up your brother to bring up like the changes to baseball this year.
Yeah.
Pitch clock, bigger bases, no shift.
Mhm.
Being that the Rays were the team that started the shift, really.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the changes? And I guess you'd be able to have more knowledge on the whole pitch clock situation, being that your brother's a pitcher and all that. Like, what's your thoughts behind everything?
I think it's great. I think it's, MLB wants to kind of figure out what's best for fans, really, in the game, and also the players. You want quicker games. It's beneficial for both sides. Bigger bases, less injuries on the base paths, all that kind of stuff. As anything, there's just going to be some adjustments in the first few months, but after that, like we'll forget what it was before.
Is
Because
it going to be like? Go ahead.
Sorry, no, like in the minor leagues, the past couple of years, we've done experiments with the pitch clock and bigger bases, and it
Are you
seemed to
seeing
work
more
better,
injuries?
so.
Is there more injuries with the pitch clock? Because I think that's the only thing that kind of concerns me, though, is I think you're going to maybe get more pitchers with injuries, maybe even batters too. So I guess we'll wait and see what
I
happens.
don't know.
I like
I
the
don't know.
bigger bases, though.
Yeah,
Why
I
though?
don't know any of the numbers on injuries and stuff, but
I'm curious about that. Why do you like the bases bigger?
yeah, I think it's
What's
more
it like?
like just base paths and stuff like that. Like, you don't want guys rolling ankles or stepping on ankles and all that kind of stuff. So
Or
if
breaking
you have a
your
wider
wrist?
basis, it's a bigger area to step on.
So you make my anti-bigger bases theory completely like mute at that point, because like I look at it from a different perspective. I hate the bigger bases because to me you're making the stolen base meaningless at that point.
I think the stolen bases are going to go up.
Well, now here's why I'm saying the stolen bases are now meaningless. The stat itself will now be meaningless because someone's going to break Ricky Henderson's record, and Ricky Henderson did it when it was farther apart.
Yeah,
You're
that
gonna
makes
come.
sense.
You're gonna come into a place now where, being that the bases are bigger, I feel like as a catcher, when you get that ball and you see the guy running to second, why even try to kill your arm to throw that ball down? He's got it. Just give it to him. It's
I mean, it'll
done.
be by maybe. I don't know. I get it. I can see your perspective on it.
It advantages
like
also.
How
we're gonna
much
lose
bigger are
that
they going to be,
magic.
though?
So they went from 15 to 18.
Yeah,
inches.
dude. I don't think that 3 inches all the way around is gonna like diminish the past of.
Well, think about it this way: you're now 6 inches closer to second base. You're 6 inches closer to third base because of both bases being bigger, not just because one base is bigger.
Now they just got to throw the ball harder.
So, and
Pop
another
pounder's gonna
thing.
get quicker.
Another thing that kind of irritates me with the whole thing is now pitchers are limited on how many times they can throw over. So now if they hit that limit, like I think it's 2, they can throw over twice, and then they have to deliver a pitch home.
Yeah.
Once they do that second throw over, now the runner knows that the next time he makes his move, they can just bolt
Is that per inning?
to second. I think
it's
it
per
might
batter.
be per pitch
Per
or
batter?
per batter.
Yeah.
Oh, well. See, I feel like that doesn't matter either. Like, I personally don't see that like affecting much.
I don't know. I think honestly, like, it all just goes for the speed of the game, because you were having 4.5 hour games. And
I like the magic
Like-
of a really good base stealer being able to steal
Yeah.
that base. Like, I go right back to Javi Baez in 16, where he would come sliding in with one hand, and as they were going to tag, he would flip to the other hand. I thought that that's kind of where the game was going, but with these bigger bases, like, I don't think you're going to see that as much.
I don't think the bases are like that.
I think it's a bigger
different.
deal than you're thinking it is, Cody. I think it's a lot bigger of a deal.
I think traditional baseball fans are against it, while the ones they're trying to recruit now are in more agreement with them.
Now,
That's just an
however,
opinion.
there's no reason a Yankee Red Sox game should be taking 4 hours. Like, I'm so glad that now, like, I could have something to do with the rest of my Sunday night when the Yankees play the Red Sox, because the game will finally be over in 2.5 hours instead of being over in 4.5, 5 hours.
Games are always long.
Yeah, well, they are, but I take appreciation, I'm thankful in the fact that baseball is making an effort to make the games shorter. You don't want to kill a whole day. Like, let's say you go to a baseball game, like, that's a whole day of being at the field. You've got nothing you can do afterwards, because once the game's over, you're just dog tired, ready to go home. Like, now, first pitch is at 1:00. You're on your way home by 3:30. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So
Steve, what's the word as far as what you hear? Like if guys are chattering, if you pick up on anything that you're hearing at all about the bigger bases, do they see them as like a detriment to baseball, or do players seem to kind of like the idea?
I think everybody kind of has different opinions on it. I mean, just as what we're talking about here, like they're just in the industry. They're normal people too, and people like decisions and don't like decisions. So I mean, it's kind of like a steadfast, or kind of across the board. Like everybody has their own opinion on it. That's it.
I think it depends on who you ask. I think pitchers would hate the bigger base idea, whereas I think batters and base runners like the bigger base idea. It depends on what side of the ball you're on, I think.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Steve, where do you fall in this argument overall as a fan?
I don't know. As a fan, I think honestly, if it's keeping the players safer, and you're not rolling ankles and having injuries and all that kind of stuff, I would probably side on that. Like, it is what it is.
Steve, live golf or PGA Tour golf? Which one are you preferring right now?
Live
a
is
fan.
paying a heck of a lot more. So,
last bit of baseball talk for you, Steve, before we let you go, or if you want to
good.
stay and talk March Madness with us, you're more than welcome to.
He's like, I'll pass. I'll go.
Well, he is a
I was just
Purdue
say,
fan.
yeah, boiler up on that. They just won the Big Ten championship.
So
Or the graduate.
There you
You're a
go.
Boilermaker?
Yeah.
Are you from that area?
Yes, sir. Have a bachelor's. I live in Indiana,
Okay.
unfortunately.
What part?
Dyer, right over the Illinois border.
All right. I'm from Richmond, which is like right on the Ohio line.
Oh yeah, you're down south. I'm in the
Yeah, it's like directly east of
Lake
Indianapolis.
Michigan kind of cup. It's right
west,
in that middle.
east. Okay, that makes sense. Heck yeah. My sister and brother-in-law went to Purdue.
Nice. Yeah, I got my degree in general business and human resource, which is hilarious.
Awesome.
Yeah. What a guy for that.
Hey, you know what do you got on the neon cactus?
Neon Cactus, I've never been much of a drinker, but I DJ'd a lot. And the Neon Cactus was where it was at, man. But I was always a house fan.
Okay. I think there was there's like a Jake's pub or Jake's bar or something around there that they went to all the time too.
Yeah.
So Steve, before I let you go,
we
kind of touched on a little bit earlier talking about Stacks. And the reason why I know Stacks is from meeting him just a couple months ago. But super cool guy, by the way.
He's awesome.
He is over with Italy and Japan in the World Baseball Classic. Let's talk about the World Baseball Classic. Team USA plays tonight at 10 o'clock. Well, tonight when this show's recording. Whenever it uploads, they might either already be eliminated or they might be moving on. We're not quite sure yet. You got Japan that's, I believe, undefeated. Mexico has one of your guys on it, Randy Arozarena, who's making some noise. What's your thoughts about the World Baseball Classic this year, and how does it kind of like maybe not so much change the way you approach your job, but the way the team has to kind of approach spring training and all that while this is going on?
I think it's cool. I've kind of been more aware of it more this year than in years past, because like when was the last time it was played?
2019, I think.
2019
or 2020. They did it during COVID, and it was Team USA won it.
Okay, so like that was my first kind of couple of years working in a position where I'm at, so I really didn't really understand the grasp of it. But anyway, going into it this year, and especially having Stacks in it, like I'm hearing more about it and stuff like that, and I think it's awesome. Like it's a great experience for guys being able to represent where they're from or their heritage or whatever, and it's a heck of an experience, and you're able to, like I've talked to Seth, like I don't think when other, I'm trying to think at what other time in his life he would go to Taiwan and Japan and being a part of these different experiences and being a part of a heck of a team with great people on it. And then also going to be a part of a team that plays against Shohei. Like, when else is that happening? So I think it's awesome.
How did he get that? Like, how was he asked about that? How did he get that? Like, what's his role too over there?
He's a clubhouse manager. He's one of the clubhouse. There's 2 clubhouse managers, and one clubhouse manager with the Rays had the opportunity to do that, be the head guy, and he asked Pat to go with him. So
okay,
I'm super stoked for him. He's killing it over there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
But as far as like WBC itself, I think all different organizations are treating it. They're men down during spring, but like they're also getting work in over there. So it kind of you're evaluating everything as it is.
Just like a heavier than spring training workload, I guess, right out the chute would be the best way to put it.
The broadcasters. Oh, go ahead, AJ.
I was just gonna say, I guess the team you're pulling for and all this would be USA, but with Italy having stacks on it, you might be
honestly, man.
Italy.
Like it'd be cool, like being an American and pulling for Team USA, but sorry, my guys.
You're all good,
They're
man.
yelling at me. It's cool. I think I kind of lost my train of thought. What was the question again?
It was I think you'd probably cheer for Team USA to win the World Baseball Classic, but being that you have a tie to Italy, maybe you want Italy to win now.
I don't know. I think it's tough. I think, knowing so many people that are part of all the different teams, it's more of like being a fan of the game. So you're watching these different teams play, and you're rooting for the people that that are playing on that team.
It's like an appreciation for the game. You're watching an all-star game every night because it's the best players that are the best players for each country.
And it was also like, when the Cubs won the World Series in 2016, I was over at your house, AJ. We were watching the World Series. I was pulling for the Cubs because it was
we both were.
Yeah, it was interesting and unique time in baseball, and like I think everybody was pulling for the Cubs at that point. So it's just like in any other thing, you're a fan of the game.
You got to be careful how much you talk about the Cubs here. Josh will go into a 20-minute eulogy on why the Cubs are so terrible now.
Like I got it down to like 15 minutes at this point.
I don't have 15 minutes.
Damn.
All good.
Well,
they were saying too.
Go ahead, Ryan.
They're saying on the broadcast of these games that there's even the first round are feeling like playoff games for the WBC, and you can see by some of these guys are going out and diving for these balls. It's still spring training for most of these guys, and they're going out and diving all over. Mookie made a great catch the other night. I think it was against Canada. They were up 9-1, and he's diving out making a great catch.
Yeah, these guys are super passionate about playing and putting on a show, and it's baseball, and they're happy to be playing. And I think in any industry, especially in baseball, after the whole COVID thing in 2020, like the way the world was, people are excited to be, we're 3 years removed now, but like there's a passion for what you do, and to be able to do it at the best level you can. And also, like, this being the first WBC after COVID, like, people want to represent their country. People want to represent who they are and where they're from. So, and they're proud to be a part of it, and they're going to play like it too.
And to touch on something AJ said earlier, actually, there are 2 undefeated teams in the World Baseball Classic currently, and that is Japan at 4-0 and Venezuela at 4-0. Everyone else has experienced a loss at some point. Poor China is 0-4, along with Nicaragua. No victories in their path, but everything else looks to be pretty solid.
There was also a combined perfect game the other night.
Puerto Rico, right?
Puerto Rico, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we say one thing before we get off the world or baseball thing? Let's all be honest. Great Britain has the worst uniform.
Yes. Worst fucking jersey.
Oh
I don't
my
know who's in charge of
God.
designing
You stole
that.
my in the rough.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, I'm sorry, but that was the cheapest shit I have ever seen in my life, man. I could make Little League shirts that are better.
I've got a point I want to bring up, and I'll do it during the In the Rough segment, but there was just one part of those jerseys that just tops all the others. So
I'm sorry, man. I didn't know that was.
no, you're good. You're good. You're good. Steve, before I let you go, okay, I got to ask you one question because for the 5th time this week, I was called an asshole on Twitter by someone I don't know. With the shift being in play, okay,
Mhm.
you got a left-hander batter up. Everyone moves over to the first base side of the infield. Why the hell wouldn't they just slap a bunt or go opposite field there where there's 90 feet of open area? It for these guys, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Why does that not happen?
There's still respect in baseball. Beat them with what you got.
So even though you know it's probably not going to work, you're still going to just swing the bat like you always would.
Yeah. I guess that's
Okay.
it. I don't know.
So I'm not an asshole though in saying why the hell don't you just go the opposite way?
I mean,
I think
think
he
it's
just
kinda
said you
viewed-
would be an asshole.
I think it's kind of viewed as a cheap way out. But also, like, I don't know, like in certain intense game situations, if they're going to be playing I don't know. I don't
You
know.
guys would.
I don't
You
know.
guys
That's a
would have
higher.
shifted all the way over.
That's a higher pay scale than what I'm at. So they can figure it out.
Are the Red Sox cheating the system by moving their outfielders over?
Shoot, who knows?
Steve, thank you for coming on, my friend. Good luck to you this season. Thanks for always being a really close friend of mine too, buddy.
Of course, John. I appreciate you guys, and thank you for
Thanks
having
for
me
coming on, buddy.
Thanks for coming on,
Absolutely.
man.
Hey,
Yes,
why don't
definitely. Thank you.
if you could do me a favor, Steve, tell people
Mhm.
where they can find you on social media and what your merchandise link is.
Deal. So you guys can find me on. That's a heck of a picture.
That is the sick
I'm
picture.
gonna give a shout out. 27outs.com. You spell out 20, and then you have the number 7. Spell out outs.com. That's where all of merch is for us. You can find me on socials at Steve Berhalter on Instagram and Twitter, and LinkedIn too if you want to check out my LinkedIn.
I did check out your LinkedIn earlier. I actually had all of the information about you before you even came on and told me about it. So
Sweet.
I read the synopsis already.
Perfect. Awesome, guys. I appreciate you guys, and thank you for having me on.
Thanks,
Thanks for
Steve.
coming on.
Absolutely.
Take
Yes,
care,
all right.
buddy.
Yes, thanks.
See ya.
Yep.
And that was Steve here on the Gamers Do Sports podcast. We'll catch you on the next side of the break. Welcome back to the Gamers Do Sports podcast. Welcome to the 5 or the 4 or whatever you prefer this week. We are giving you our baseball team to watch this season. The baseball team that's going to make some noise that you wouldn't expect to make some noise in this upcoming year. Cody, since you know everything there is about baseball, why don't you start us off and not say somebody like the Washington Senators?
So I'm actually more of a Generals guy.
Oh,
But this one is actually a fun question because I love to do this actually. Every season, I always like talk about a random team, and then like if they do good, then I kind of like bandwagon and I'm like, yeah. But mine a few years ago was actually the Orioles. But I'm not gonna take the Orioles right now. I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Angels, and that is a fair one because nobody ever expects shit out of them.
you've been saying the same team since like what, 2010?
Yeah.
That's about right. I mean, do you want to know something crazy here? How many playoff series has Mike Trout played in his entire career?
0.
1. He played in 1 divisional series. 1
Hey.
series.
2023 is the year.
All right, you say so. I don't see how that team improved anything, but
We're headed to the Super Series.
we're headed to the Super Bowl. That's what's
Cody took mine. So, yeah. Give me the Oakland Athletics. For some reason, every now and then they seem to make the playoffs. And, well, throwing a shot at the dart. We're throwing the dart at the dartboard. Lands on the Oakland Athletics.
You know this is supposed to be like a team that you think is going to make a deep run, right?
Oh, I thought it said improved, but sure. Deep run. Oakland Athletics. Let's go.
So the
Let's go.
2022 Oakland Athletics went
That's
60
right.
and 102.
That's right. They're going to go 102 and 60 this year. Let's go.
Yeah, they are.
Billy
I'm
Gates,
right
there.
with Ryan.
Moneyball. It's happening.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Josh, are you going to say the Cubs?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Why are you going with the Cubs, Josh?
Well, it's, I mean, well, Cubs.
With a Yankee hat displayed in the background. There you go. So I'm not necessarily reaching too far out for this pick. It's kind of more of a safe one, but I'm going to take the Seattle Mariners to make a deep run this year. I think with the young talent they have, especially Julio Rodriguez, who might be the best player in baseball right now, up and coming player in baseball right now. It's kind of hard to say that when Mike Trout is still playing, whether hurt or not. But Seattle, that's who I'm going with.
You know what? I'm gonna jump back in, and reason I'm picking the Cubs is I think they've made some decent moves. Not anything that, you know, heals wounds of a few years ago. But it shows that we might be looking towards the right direction, not going in the right direction. I want to see what happens with our young talent that still hasn't made it to the show yet. Let's see what happens with them. Let's try not to trade away our farm system for an asshole of a pitcher that really didn't do anything for us. But I digress. Sorry for my outburst. I just think we're moving in the right direction. I think we still have to get better pitching than what we currently have. I think last year was a flop of a signing with Marcus Stroman. But we'll see what happens. We got some decent bats, so let's see what we do with them.
Explain to me,
AJ.
Well, hold. I want to hop on Josh's back for a second. Explain to me in NFL terms, so I can understand the culture. What is it like to be a Cubs fan?
In NFL culture,
Yeah. What is like the equivalent fan base, NFL to Cubs?
The Lions with a ring.
the first day of the regular season, we were like the Patriots of the dynasty era, where we felt we were unbeatable and we were going all the way. A week into the season, you know, we're more of like the Packers. We have our deep seeds and we love our team, and we start, you know, toning back the smack talking, but still smack talking. And about a month to 2 months into the season, we start, you know, kind of seeing the drain starting to go. And I'd say probably by June, we're Cleveland Brown fans going, they did it to us again.
Is that every year?
That's for 14 through 16.
Okay.
Was decent. But you know, I think that Major League Baseball at this point is got everything kind of ass backwards when it comes to how to improve the game. Improving the game is not going to be shorter games. It's not going to be bigger bases. Improving the game is getting the game itself in front of as many eyes as you possibly can to grow that sport. And the more they black out games, the more they allow teams with fan bases, big fan bases, to establish their own networks and charge their fans for games, and a good portion of them end up being blacked out anyway, you're doing all the actions pushing people away from baseball, but standing there like a bunch of jerks going, well, I don't know why people aren't watching anymore. People aren't coming out to the ballpark. Well, when your team consistently loses year in and year out, and the cost of tickets steadily goes up, at a certain point, the fans are going to say the hell with it. And that's, I think, what's happening around the league is baseball is no longer passionate, in the eyes of the fans. It's analytics. It's, well, I can pay this person this much, pay this person this much. And you lose that franchise name, that franchise guy that, casual fans kind of dig around. I think we're heading in a bad area when it comes to sports. And I hope they figure it out before it becomes an issue, because what was it last year? Like, the fans just started coming back around. Don't change enough to piss off the diehard fans. I know you want to put eyes on the sport. NASCAR did it with the stage 1 and stage 2 shit. I'm not a fan of it, and I've been a fan of NASCAR now for about a month. I'm not a fan of it. As a casual fan, I don't like it. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. But that's what sports, leagues do, is they get these little niche ideas, like, we're going to make the game or the sport better. And they do these stupid things that take away from what's pure about the sport. And the more you do that, the more you water it down.
What's an average ticket price for Wrigley, Josh?
To be honest with you, you're not getting a decent seat in that place for less than $80 to $100.
A lot of things are going to be hurt now too with the Bally Sports bankruptcy. I mean, that's going to hurt a lot of guys, a lot of people's viewing. But I saw the MLB is wanting to put together their MLB Network presentation for all those games to be still available locally, even after the bankruptcy. So
hopefully ESPN Plus can pick up some games too.
Last year, what did I tell you? My main reason, my issue with my team was that I could not watch them lose. Not mentally, I couldn't watch them lose. I'm a Cubs fan. I know how to watch people lose.
You couldn't watch the lovable losers do their thing.
I couldn't watch any of them. This whole spring training, I haven't seen a game. I look on my phone. I live through MLB notifications. That's how they respect their fan bases. One of the best things was coming home on during a weekday towards the summer on WGN. Cubs were on. Didn't matter. Channel 9. Now you can't get anything. It's easier to watch. Go ahead.
Even if the Cubs weren't on, you still got Hawk Harrelson and the White Sox.
I would rather cut my balls off with a rusty blade than listen to Hawk Harrelson talk baseball.
Here you go.
Talk in life.
Does the MLB, do they have anything
sure
kind
retired,
of like, does the MLB have anything like the Sunday ticket? That's like in comparison, like a league pass?
Extra innings.
Yeah,
extra innings. I pay for MLB.TV so I can watch all the Yankee games, which...
How much is that?
It's $20 a month, or I think it's like $100 for the year, $200 for the year.
And you get to watch any game possible?
Any game except for local blackouts.
That's ridiculous.
Well, see, the baseball schedule, it's not so bad, right? Because at least for me, it's not so bad because I have cable. So like the nights where I want to watch the Yankees, and they're playing in Tampa, I can just flip it on cable and whatever. I can watch it, or I can use the black box, as I'll call it on this.
I've always thought blackouts were awful.
Blackouts are awful, but it's hard to explain, like, without having like a second to just sit down and think about it and give you a well thought out response to the blackouts. But they suck in general. That's pretty basic.
Lions games used to be blacked out when they played at the Silverdome. Silverdome hosted 80,000 people, and they sucked. They weren't winning. Well, they're still not winning, but now at least you can watch the games on TV because they sell out. It's just terrible.
I
I'm
don't
pretty
feel
sure-
peer pressuring people into going to your stadium is the way to go for any team.
I agree.
You know, I know it sounds nerdy, but I have a tradition every single Sunday. I go through my entire house and I clean it top to bottom. Everything you could think of. And I watch every single Bears game. I watch every single almost every game on Sunday. When baseball season was going on, the game was on. No matter what we were doing, the game was on the TV. If the TV was on, the game was on. You know, and now Marquee Network, I mean, you got to jump through so many hoops. And I'm sorry, but when my team is losing 9 out of 10, I'm not paying you $20 a month to watch you. You're lucky I'm dedicating my time to watch you for free on WGN. You want to charge people because you saw the Yankees do it? Well, how about this? Get the amount of championships the Yankees have, and then we'll talk. Become as valuable as the Yankees, and then we'll talk.
I thought I heard Marquee was coming to MLB TV. I thought I heard that.
I mean, they thought this was going to be the next big thing, and do you remember when they launched it?
Yeah, I remember you getting all upset about it for sure.
Right, but do you remember the specific month that they launched Marquee Sports Network?
No.
March 2020.
Hmm.
You know what March 2020 was?
Yeah.
All the Facebook
Yeah.
memories are starting to pop back up. It's like 3 years ago.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right. I saw the ones for Atlanta for
So
when
yeah.
yeah.
they lost, I think the first year they lost close to $1 billion over like the course of that season of like lost revenue from like the games not being played and the dead airspace that they didn't have programming scheduled for. Like they lost their ass.
But that's everybody. I mean, every sport that was in session at that point. Hockey, basketball, baseball, like that's everybody was in that same scenario.
But
Yeah.
during a company's launch, though, that's rough.
It's I mean, was that not also during Bali's launch? And they just fired Chapter 11 yesterday.
I thought Bali had been around a while before that.
All I remember is when they popped up, their little scoreboard ticker drove me nuts. I could not watch a game on Bali's network because that ticker being at the bottom the way it was just drove me nuts for baseball. I don't
Now
know
they
why.
launched now Bailey's launched a streaming service. They want an extra $20, and this is Miguel Cabrera's saying it's his last year, and I want to watch a few games. I don't want to spend $20 to watch a game here, game there, game here, game there. No, it's terrible.
You got to pay for that lawsuit and those lawyers somehow.
Oh,
I don't think that you should sit there in front of people saying we want to get more eyes on the sport, but you do everything in your power to limit the eyes that are seeing your sport. You know,
They only want
like,
eyes that are willing to pay extra.
yeah, like what's it to you? And it's like, come on, there's a reason they called the Chicago Cubs the lovable losers, because no matter how much they lose, we always show up.
You know what I think happened? The WWE did so well with the original WWE network that it set a weird standard for every other sport, and it is not sustainable for any other sport to do it.
See, I disagree with that. I agree with what you're saying, but I disagree with it. I think their blueprint came from the Yankees network.
So the way the MLB network does it is you can go back, I think, maybe to 2009 and watch any baseball game from that time frame. I think it's just if you subscribe to it, it's just cool. It's cool to
the
have.
only reason you get that stuff, who's sitting there watching old games unless something special happened?
Well, I mean, I'll watch like the old. For me, it'd be the 09 playoff run. I'll watch some of the games from there.
See, I go back. I rewatch. When I was younger, I used to rewatch old Raw events all the time.
I watch those. I watch those going to bed.
Old pay-per-views. I love to watch old
Royal
races.
Rumbles.
I like to. Yeah, Royal Rumbles are good to watch. I love to go back and watch like kind of like what Josh said, something special. Like certain games that like I have vivid memories of, I go back and rewatch those a lot.
I know that like on my YouTube page is all NASCAR races I attended on my
Yeah.
like page. So this way, like I can just flip them on. This way I can see the broadcast of it. I was there. That kind of
I'd
thing.
watch Miggy. I'd watch Miggy with the Triple Crown when he clinched the Triple Crown. I'd watch that game again.
I'd watch the 16 Game 7.
Yeah. Derek Jeter's walk off, his final at bat at Yankee Stadium was a walk off. Like it was just cool
Scripted.
stuff. Oh, shut the fuck up. You know what was scripted?
What?
You going in and to a pizza place and getting yelled at.
Getting yelled at for forgetting my card because I was frazzled.
You know what the worst part was is I don't know what your name is on your card, but it's not what I expected your name to be. So
Yeah.
when she said it, I was like, I don't
Well,
know.
and that throws
who
me
that
off
is.
too, right? Because I never go by my legal name. So
Yeah.
you can just yell it in my face and I don't acknowledge that you're talking to me.
And then
What's
we
your
were
legal
told
name?
I'll tell you in a little bit.
Alright.
when the cameras are off. I'll tell you. So like I thought the funniest part was after we had ordered and spent fucking $70 for 2 pizzas and 20 wings in Daytona. They told us that we essentially were waiting ourselves to come back inside and check every 5 minutes to see
Every
if our
five-
food's done.
every 5 minutes.
Was this Saturday night?
This was
No,
after
this
the
was
500.
Sunday night.
Oh, after the 500. All right.
And this wasn't it wasn't busy. I mean, like they had like business, like there were people coming in and out, but what you would expect for like a beachfront pizza place to have. So it's not like they were like slammed.
Mind you, Daytona on a Sunday closes at like 9:00, and this was 8:30. So it's like one of 10 places maybe still open.
You would think they would open longer during that weekend.
You would
Fuck
think.
no, that
Exactly.
place don't. And now, like, I have someone to back me up on that. Cody can back me up. Like that place
Yeah.
shuts the fuck down at
Next
9
time
o'clock.
we don't turn left at the bridge. From now on, we only go right.
What's right? What's right of the bridge?
All the good stuff.
Well, you want to go follow me to Browns?
I'm good.
You're good. You don't want to go to Browns?
Yeah.
We got stuck behind a bus. Gwen, Zach, myself got stuck behind a bus that said "Follow me to Browns." And for those unaware, Browns is a strip club place in Daytona, and this bus moves at the speed of smell in front of you on like a 1-lane road, so you cannot go around it by any means.
Force you to
Your
follow them
only
around.
option is to follow that bus to Browns.
We have breaking news, gentlemen. The Bears have struck again. This time, PJ Walker to a deal.
Who?
PJ Walker.
Former
Panthers
XFL quarterback.
Yeah.
Yep. Panthers too. Yep.
So he's taking over Justin
Why would
Fields'
we
job.
want that?
Nice.
That's a solid third stringer.
Yeah. I don't even know who our second string is at this point.
I would hope that it's not him.
It's probably him.
As mobile as Fields is, and like just injury prone as being a mobile quarterback is, I would hope that PJ Walker was not my QB2.
Bears expected to sign PJ Walker as of 15 minutes ago. Adam
Is
Schefter.
this BS
He now becomes
Aaron
the
Rodgers thing ever going to end?
per Adam Schefter. He now becomes the likely backup to Justin Fields.
Bears are Bears, baby.
Ew.
Bears gonna bear.
Ew.
I saw
Been
a
throwing it out there.
meme, and it was like if you couldn't ride with us at like 4-13, then don't come back at 3-16. Or not 3-6.
Oh.
Whatever.
You got
the
it
math
backwards.
is.
You got
Yeah,
it backwards.
Don't come back at 6-10.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be 7 and
I-
10? And there's 17 games now?
Yeah, 7-10 now.
I
Yeah.
truly believe my team is going to squeak into the playoffs this upcoming year. Wild card.
This would be a great time to just end this show.
Yeah, I think the NFC is a little too.
You really think that?
Squeak in.
I think the
Like-
Lions are better than you.
On the last fucking play, the last pass of the last game of the last week before playoffs, we're going to find out that we got in by default.
I think the Lions are better than you. I think the Vikings are better than you. And I think the Packers might be better than you. Might. Depends on how everything goes.
He's saying you're bottom of the barrel.
I am. I mean, I am. Because the Bears have
Even
shown
with
me
everything
nothing.
we've already done.
Everything you've already done, you still haven't made the playoffs with
Josh,
Justin
you
Fields.
have to remember he's a Patriots fan. He doesn't understand what rebuilding your struggles looks like. He's just
What do you
now
mean? I'm
getting
in the
to
fucking middle of
experience
it.
this. You're just now getting to taste it.
We just signed Juju Smith-Schuster 5 years after he was good.
Yeah, welcome to it.
But like I'm saying, like
The
what
Dolphins are better than you.
Yes.
The Jets are better than you.
Probably if they get Rodgers, yes.
The Bills,
Obviously, yes. But
You're
you know what the
bottom of
difference
barrel,
is?
too.
I'm sitting here telling you that we're bottom of the barrel. I can come to grips with that and say that and full well know it. Not let it affect me.
No, I don't think we're going to finish last in our division.
I think there's a solid chance. I'm saying don't be shocked.
Yeah.
look at him. You're making it.
Listen, so this show has gone on now 15 minutes longer than really should have been. But regardless, what have the Bears done in the last 5 years that made you think they're making a turnaround?
Acquiring Ryan Poles.
See, I would have said probably like drafting Justin Fields.
No.
They're the same
No.
team with Justin Fields as they were with
Because
Mitch
I
Trubisky.
think Justin Fields hasn't proven as much as this city thinks he has.
Thank you.
He's established he can run, but can he make complex passes when
Is
the
he a
time
Lamar?
is needed?
He's a worse Lamar.
You know, I think that we can make something out of him, but he's not the savior that everybody thinks he is out here.
Do I think
he's better than at this point any quarterback in the NFC North? Yes, I do now.
Is he better? Okay. Is he better than Jared Goff?
Yes.
Is he better than Kirk Cousins?
Yes.
Yes.
Is he better than Jordan Love?
Yes.
So he's the
I don't
best
even
quarterback.
think that one's like answerable. Yet.
He's the best quarterback in the NFC North, is what you're saying.
I'm saying now it's a strong argument.
It's not even an argument to you. It's clear cut. Justin
That's an
Fields is the best
opinion.
quarterback in the NFC North, in your opinion.
Right now, as it sits, I believe he's going to be the best quarterback in that division come the end of the year.
What is your record at the end of the season?
It's going to be a losing record, but like an 8-9 or a 9 or something of that nature.
That would be a success, though, right? I would imagine.
I mean, I don't really count anything against this season because after a while, after the Dallas game, you kind of knew they were tanking. Did AJ just leave?
Yeah, he just left. He's like, I'm done. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Hey,
Sorry.
don't hit your search bar right in the StreamYard shit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing with Fields though. They're actually giving him weapons now. Like Cole Kmet, great tight end. I like him as a tight end. You just traded for DJ Moore. You're starting to get the pieces around him. Let's see if, like Josh, as he said, maybe he can be the best quarterback in this division now. Let's see. Let's see him get
I don't
the
think
talent. Let's
DJ
see
Moore
what he can do.
gives that much talent to that
Okay.
team.
Oh, DJ
So-
Moore's a good receiver.
Last year the Bears went 3-14. Josh, you really think that there's 5 more wins on that table than there was last year?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Damn, he's like seething with it.
Wow.
Oof.
I'll go one better. At the end of the season, the Chicago Bears will have a better record than the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I fucking hope so. I hope so.
That'll make me happy.
Cool. The Patriots are probably the 24th best team in the league.
Yeah, but I mean, you always got that wild card in Belichick.
No,
He's
they
been
don't.
able to make things out of nothing.
Josh, they have 2 losses to Miami coming. They have 2 if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets, they have 2 losses to the Jets coming, and they have 2 losses to the Bills coming. There's 6 right there.
You're counting.
They're not going to win a game in the
out that-
AFC East next year. They're not.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I know so. They will not win a game in the AFC East next year.
Okay. Okay.
So, like you saying that, like I think the Bears are going to do better than New England. Like I hope so, because if you don't, then you have seriously regressed, and it's not possible when you were a 3-win team last year.
Yeah, but like I said, after that Dallas game, it was like they started thinking. Like that's my honest opinion. I saw the turn after that Dallas game because we didn't win a game after that.
No, but you crushed New England in New England the week before on Monday Night Football. So why did the Dallas game show you that they weren't anything? Because after the New England game, they again only had 3 wins.
That's when I kind of got the vibe that they were going to tank. They were going to tank the rest of the fucking year. That's just my opinion. It just seemed like they had no competitive fire in them at that point. We couldn't get anybody to protect Fields. If I'm not mistaken, he had the least amount of time in the pocket of the entire NFL. You know, when you see stuff like that happening on a constant basis, shit, we lost Orlando Brown. You kind of get a vibe of what's going on.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at New England's schedule next year. Now that you have me thinking about it, and right now I only see 1 win on the schedule, and it's Washington.
Oh, there is no way you guys will only win 1 game.
There's only 1 win on the schedule that I can write in there, and it's Washington. At Dallas, at Denver, at the Vegas Raiders, at Miami, Buffalo, Miami, New York, Kansas City, Los Angeles Chargers, Eagles, Giants, Jets, Bills, Colts, Saints, Steelers. The only win on that schedule is Washington. That is it. And that's a maybe.
So you
one
really think that they're.
So again, I hope you are better than New England next year. I hope.
Yeah.
Is Mac Jones your quarterback next year?
No, I hope to God they draft Stetson Bennett, but that's a story for another day.
Of course, that's what you want.
You're still on that, huh?
I will be on that till draft night's done with.
It's liable to happen too. Like that's just like the.
Why do you think I'm trying to speak it into existence?
Smart.
Oh.
You heard it here.
First round pick too,
the
right?
Patriots. No, because what Belichick's going to do is he's going to do his mega stupid reach, and he'll probably take him in the 2nd round. But
trades up to get him number 1 overall.
Take Stetson Bennett with the number 1 overall pick. Like Bryce Young's still up there. Will Levis is still up there. We're taking Stetson.
Richardson's up there. Yep.
They trade
Richardson's another one. Okay. So I keep trying to get the social media so we can get the hell out of here. But Anthony Richardson's another one where I don't understand everyone's love for him because he sucked at Florida. He was awful at Florida. He was a pick machine at Florida. I don't understand what all the hype is around this guy because I don't know.
I think people just see the dog in him, bro.
I guess. Talent. He's Cam Newton, which is great because Cam Newton was an overrated quarterback from the minute he stepped into the league. I take that back. Cam Newton was an overrated quarterback post 2015. And he was only in the league for 3 years that year.
Refused to dive for the ball.
Absolutely. That was the time
on that Super Bowl. Yep.
That Cam Newton became what Cam Newton ended.
I love Cam.
But you admit that was the turning point, right?
Yeah, for
sure.
You
also like Carson Wentz too. You also love Carson Wentz too.
Andy Dalton got a job, by the way.
Huh?
Andy Dalton got a job, which was funny.
Where?
I forgot where he went. Where did I just see?
That Houston, maybe.
Oh no, yeah, he went to Charlotte. The Panthers.
Yes,
Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go over some social media stuff here. You can find our podcast on Twitter at Gamers Do Sports. We are also on Facebook in your search bar, Gamers Do Sports. We are now on our own YouTube channel in your search bar, the Gamers Do Sports podcast. It's kind of separating away from the Left Turn Cult page, having our own little page. We are also on TikTok at Gamers Do Sports. Again, you can find me personally at One Lug TV on Twitter. I have incredibly shitty opinions, so go ahead, give me a follow. Josh, go ahead.
Social media, Twitter at Gonzo Podcasting. And I mean, visit all our handles for Gamers Do Sports. If you ever have any topics you want to see on the show, throw us a message. If it's something that'll rival up the group, then maybe we'll find our way onto it. But hope to see how this one goes and keep on growing.
Ryan, go ahead.
Runcola88 on Twitter. Like everybody's been saying, follow us on the Gamers Do Sports podcast page. Cody.
It's me. It's me. One Lug TV, aka your host with the most, aka Cody. Find me on Twitter at the Nas Cody. YouTube Gamers Do Sports. And yeah, just make sure you follow. And if you
Hashtag Geraldo lookalike.
Geraldo at large.
Wish.com Geraldo Rivera.
If you like our content, then please follow. If not, we're gonna quit and we're all gonna never do podcasts again.
No, we're all just gonna join the Left Turn cult.
Yeah, yeah, that's
right.
the backup plan. There's gonna be 9 of us talking racing.
Don't worry, Josh, I got you. You're covered.
Yeah, I mean, nobody will be able to hear shit anyway. Like, just everybody talking over each other.
I mean, isn't that any podcast you ever listen to?
Yeah. Anytime, I don't know about you guys. Sorry, AJ, I'm gonna hijack your outro here.
You're good.
Anytime I go to watch a podcast and I see more than 3 people, I'm immediately like, fuck this. Like, I'm not listening to a bunch of people screaming over each other.
What'd you say?
Huh?
We do have some fun stuff coming up this week, though. We got our March Madness Tournament Challenge has 21 entries so far as of this recording. Going to work on getting a fantasy baseball league set up. Maybe do a prize for that too. Not too sure yet. Still kind of working the kinks through that. And Cody, you want to talk about the LTC Super Speedway series coming up for gaming wise?
Oh, yeah, we are doing an iRacing league. Still very early into its development. We were aiming to have it going by the end of this month, but I feel like we're like now 2 weeks behind where we were 2 weeks ago. So just got to get some technicalities figured out behind that. But it is going to be an iRacing league that is streamed. Probably it might be streamed from the Left Turn Cult page. So we're going to have, like, hopefully different personalities come on from the whole LTC media thing. I mean, how fun would it be if, like, Josh came in and commentated over a race, or Ryan, so on and so forth. So,
I don't know.
but it's going to be a super speedway series. It's kind of in the name. Talladega, iRacing Super Speedway, Daytona, Atlanta. And the kind of cars we're running, we're still not fully decided. Of course, there's going to be some, like, just regular Cup Series cars. But with them bringing the Gen 4 car into iRacing, that seems pretty fun to do at super speedways. Also, I want to do just random ass cars for the series too. So just, like, I want it to be a spectacle.
Can't wait to run the what is it, the Radicals at Michigan?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. Well, looking forward to that. That'll do it for all of us.
Definitely.
We'll catch you next week. We're out of here. See you guys.